Hello, and welcome to another edition of Get More Business Now, the show that helps you how to make more money, how to find more clients easier, faster, and with less fear. I'm Patti Pokorchak, small biz sales coach, and I'm here with my co-host Gerry Black, who's the marketing and sales guru, and he's going to talk about how to stay in touch with clients or potential clients in an easy, automated way. So over to you, Gerry.
Well, thanks, Patti. And just for the record, Patti calls me the guru. I don't tell her to call me that, just so you know. So anyway, one of the things that always amazes me in business is how many business owners will spend time, money, and energy attracting new prospects, and they get them get them into the boat, but then they don't follow up. Mm-hmm. And that is really where the payoff is when you follow up. And
I always say entrepreneurs, they fall down on the follow up, right?
I like that.
Yeah, they fall down on the follow up. Yeah, it's whether you say it's from a marketing perspective or a sales perspective, they just don't follow up. They don't make it a priority.
Yeah, and HubSpot, I think, has some statistics that show, and you can find these statistics in a number of places, but basically it takes 5 follow-up phone calls to kind of sort of determine whether or not you've got an opportunity or not. So it takes a lot of interaction. And when you think about it, it makes sense, because we don't, people like to buy from people they know, like, and trust. And on a one-shot deal, which many business owners do, whether it's selling or marketing, you can't really get to know anything, right? People, you need to lower that sales resistance barrier and get them to feel that you're on their side. Yeah. And following up is a way to do it.
That's right. And I'm just thinking of some of the salesy emails or marketing emails I've gotten recently, and I'll get some, and I know you're going to go into this, I'm sort of preempting, but I just said thanks, but no thanks to one, and I ignored it. So there's 2 emails. One is like, did you not see my last email? Or this is no,
you idiot.
Delete. But there was one, and they're doing, I think, what you're going to say, and it's like, hey, here's some more value. Here's an interesting fact. Here's a case study, and I finally said, okay, thanks, but no thanks. But I responded, so
that's our show for this week, folks. Patti is pretty yeah, so that's true. Like, I mean, there is a right way and a wrong way. We're going to talk about the right way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna validate is that what you're saying actually works. If it works on me, I'm the fastest one with the delete button. I'm just saying is what you're saying and what you're preaching and what you've done, what you do actually works.
Yeah, and it really is, it never gets too far away from building a relationship with your prospect, right? I mean, people just aren't going to buy till they feel comfortable. And the only way they're going to feel comfortable is if they trust you and feel they know you and feel you can make a difference in their lives. So one of the things that I always, think about is, if follow-up is so important, why don't more business owners do it? And one of the reasons is many people I talk to will say, well, I really don't have the time to do the follow-up. Or, I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to do it, and all of that. But if they knew how much money it was costing them, because as I say, they spend time, money, and effort to get the prospect there in the first place, what's eventually going to happen is they're probably going to say some things that the prospect files away and goes and checks it out with their competitor. And so the competitor is, you are basically attracting prospects and paying for them to go buy from your competitor. And I think a big part of it is people just simply don't understand the value in following up, and they think it's very time consuming. And as we're going to discuss in a minute, you're going to see it's not time consuming at all, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Now, in Patti's world, follow-up is done with a combination of email and phone and a number of different social media. It could be a number of different ways. What we're talking about here today is when a prospect downloads a free report or a free guide or a checklist from your website, what do you do from that point on? Many marketers will just say, okay, well, they got it. Hopefully they'll call me. Well, you know, that is like one shot marketing, and it's like 1 in a million that they will call you.
I was gonna say, buy a lottery ticket. You got more. The odds are better. Which
Yeah, and the dirty little secret is many people never even read it. They download it and they don't even read it. They get distracted and whatnot. The only purpose of that free report or guide or checklist is to get their email address, because that's where the follow-up comes in. So the follow-up that there's a couple of companies, AWeber and Constant Contact. I'm not paid to mention either of them. They're very, very basic. They've got a lot of horsepower to them, but it's like $30 a month to sign up. And I think some of them even give you a month free. But that is really the key. It's standalone software anybody can use, and you build your system within that software. And it's very simple. And like I say, it's about $30 a month. Probably not even these days. So that takes all of the hard work and all of the effort out of it. And it's all you really have to do to follow up in a very meaningful way is put their name, their email address into the system, into the follow-up system. You enter it once, and as you'll see, it's all automated and all pre-done. So what happens is that prospect is going to be touched by your messaging. You can set it up over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, it doesn't really matter, but they will get an automatic message from you, and you don't even have to be there or anything like that. And the best part is these systems will tell you, once Patti, for instance, downloaded my checklist, did she look at some of the other emails? Did she even click open the link that offers the checklist? So what you're trying to do is you are able to gauge how interested they are. So if you send out 7 emails in this campaign we're going to talk about in a minute, you send out 7 emails and Patti, for instance, opens 7.
Yeah.
Well, you know you've got somebody who's interested, and there you can start to maybe email her and you know, feel her out a little bit on, you know, what the next step is in your selling process, and see if she's interested. But that's a good gauge.
Yeah, and I use MailChimp, and when MailChimp gives you stars, right, gold stars, which, you know, dear to my heart as a grade oneer, you know, getting gold stars, and if you get like 5 stars, that means they've opened up every one of your emails or newsletters that you've sent out. And if there's only like 2 stars, it means like, you know, they're typical. Keep reaching out, just keep reaching out until they, you know, either respond or unsubscribe. You know, I mean, and never take unsubscribes personally, right? It's not a stake through your heart. It's
no, you don't worry about that. And one of the things, you know, when I think back when I was in another life in a selling career, one of the sales managers I had at the time used to tell me, you know, I'd send off a proposal, and then I'd have my fingers crossed. He goes, "It's the weakest time in the process." I said, "Why is that?" I sent a great proposal. I'm a great guy. He says, "Because you have no idea. Now you are lost total control. It's in the hands of the prospect, and they've got to make a decision." So you go through that. It's kind of like in Apollo 13 when they came back and they went through that dead zone where nobody heard from them for 3 minutes. It's the same kind of thing. Once the proposal goes off, you really can't do much. I mean, you can nag them if you like, but that's not going to get you too far. In this particular case, you can get some instant feedback from the dashboard to see if people are responding to the messaging you're sending.
Oh, I know. I love that email tracking thing. The one thing, you know, when you're saying about when you do a proposal, is what you could try and do is prearrange a date and time to talk about your proposal. That's your best chance. So you don't lose control of it. It's just go over the details. So you have to do that before you send the proposal, right? Is nail them down. So every time you talk to a client and you have the next step, is nail down that next step with a date and time. And
could have used you about 25 years ago. Thanks for that, Patti.
Oh well, you had a good boss. Yeah,
Okay,
good thought.
so what goes into this email campaign? Because if you've never written one before, you can kind of think like, geez, where do I even start? So we're going to take a look. I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to
Okay.
take a look at a little kind of sample. So I'm just going to kick this up here.
Share your screen. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, people, what you're talking about. I'm just about to sneeze. What you're talking, yeah, I was just gonna say email nurturing, drip campaigns. Yeah, really super important. Super important. Use the technology to do what you don't do, which is the follow up. Great.
Exactly. And this is all done. What you're going to see here, all of these emails, they can all be pre-written and loaded into the system, and you can set them to go out whenever you want. And obviously, this first one is the one that gives them the link to the materials. They've given they've put their email address on your website or whatever, requested it. Well, the first email you're going to send out, and this is when they're the hottest yeah, and most interested because they've actually taken action to request this from you. Um, you know, in this first one, the very first thing you want to do is make sure you give them the link because that's what they've offered. And it should say in the subject line, I didn't really write subject lines for this, but it should say, here's the link that you requested.
Right.
So you remind them that they asked for it because sometimes people will forget. The link should be delivered immediately.
Right.
I have a client that I talked to a couple of weeks ago. I requested a report off her site, and I didn't see the report till about 6 hours later. And they're long gone. That is like,
Yeah.
so we didn't know that. So you always want to make sure you're testing. But this very first one is automatically sent the minute they make the request. And that delivers the link. And it talks maybe a little bit at a high level about some of the things you do, but not hard sell. All of these emails that you're going to see are going to be 80% educational and 20% soft sell. So if you have a special offer, you can put it in a PS or something like that. But for the most part, very soft sell. You are in the giving mode. Remember, you're not there, right? So now your system is going to take this over for you. Okay, email number 2. It thanks your prospect for asking for the free report or you know, whatever it happens to be, and it reminds them to open it
Hmm.
because that can happen. I mean, we're all busy, and you'd think like, boy, they asked for it. I'll bet they're sitting right there now devouring it. Probably not. They might scan it, but they might, you know, they might make a note, but you have to remind them in the second email, which would typically go out the next day. So it's a thank you. And just, hey, by the way, did you have a chance to read that? Did you take a look at it? Right? Very simple. And these are not long emails, by the way. Email number 3, you've kind of earned the right now to talk a little bit about how you make a difference, not in a hard sell and can I call you next Tuesday or something. That's not what this is designed to do. This is really designed to let them kind of ease into your community and get a feel for you. You might have a website link in there. You know, you probably have had it in the others as well, but you want to go a little stronger on saying, hey, here's how I make a difference with the clients I work with. So email number 4, which of course isn't showing up. Okay, there's technology. So I know what email number 4 is, so I'll tell it to you anyway. So for some reason, let's see. No, that's absolutely not working. Okay, so email number 4 is to send them another resource. So surprise them. They didn't ask for this one, but this could be a cheat sheet on, I got one the other day from someone. It was a cheat sheet on SEO,
Oh,
and that it was kind of put together as an infographic. I really didn't ask for it, but I didn't sit there and go, oh, you know, because it was helpful to me. And again, your work, it kind of shows that you as the marketer are interested in helping them, right? Everything you're sending them is related to what they've already asked about. And that's the key. Okay, so that's email number 4. Email number 5 is send them something else. Now, still related, but send them more free content. And the reason you want to do that is, again, you're monitoring in the dashboard. Are they opening these? Well, if I sent Patti email number 4 and she opened that free resource, well, she's a natural to get another one. She says, hey, I like your stuff. Don't worry if they don't open it, because somebody may not open one thing, and then you send them an email 2 emails later and they open that. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to sort of spread it around and find out what's their interest. So email number 5 is sending them that second piece of content, whatever it happens to be. Email number 6 is you've kind of sent them some information. Now you can hit them a little harder with a case study. And that case study, you really want it to be very easy to digest. You want to have like a 1-pager. I've got one on my website that I send out, and everything is right there at a glance, and they can scan down, they can see who was the client, what problem were they trying to solve, how we went about it and what the results were. And it's all there. And these are very, very effective. And again, it's not hard sell on your part. You're still showing them how you can make a difference and how you can, change things in their life.
Yeah, I was going to say, Gerry, that the key in this email nurturing campaign is always to be giving them stuff, right? It's give,
Yeah.
give, and of value. So, and 99 or 95% of people don't want to be pioneers. They don't want to be the first. So if they see a case study and go, hey, that's a company like mine, and they got those results. Oh, interesting. And it's a 1-pager, so it's easy and fast to read. Yeah. And you've got the ROI, the results that you help them achieve. You've got that like, whoa, bright and bold. It's like, I should pay this more attention.
Exactly. And remember, like during this time, as Patty's saying, you're giving them stuff, right? You're feeding them useful information. You're not there with your handout. Well, you are with your handout, but you've got something in it for them. and that does have a cumulative effect after a while. And it kind of creates a sense of reciprocity that you're really trying to create, because even though they may not be ready to buy that day, by showing them that you are interested in helping them, when it does come time to buy, they're going to look at you and probably give you a first shot at earning the business.
They're getting to know you and your style and the fact that you sort of care about them, and then you just keep giving them more stuff. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in taking it, there's some kind of discreet little non-aggressive in your face call to action of like, hey, if you want to know more, I'm always here. Yes. It's always great.
Exactly. Yeah. And then email number 7 is really kind of a little bit of information maybe about how you got started and why you do what you do. That can really, again, you're trying to make yourself a real person to them, and instead of like just you want their money, right? Which won't be the message you're sending when you take this approach. But there's nothing wrong at that point. You've been with them now for, this is probably over a 2-week period, give or take. There's no set time. But tell them a little bit about, how you got started, because that often really makes you relatable. And it shows them why you enjoy doing what you do. And it's just one more reason to think, hey, this is a real person. This is a helpful person and somebody who's real.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no right or wrong answer, but personally for me is if I hear from you 7 times in 2 weeks, it's like unsubscribe. It's too much, in my opinion. I just get too many emails to deal with that. To me, that's pestering. So my gut feel in this kind of thing is once a week. Actually, you might want to do the first 2 the same week or within 3 days or so. And then I don't know, that's again, there's sales and marketing. There's no black and white, right or wrong answers, whatever works. I've been inundated, when you get onto a free summit and you get 50 people emailing you on a daily basis. It's just like, ah,
Yeah, that's a little different. I hear what you're saying, and I understand. I always look at it from this point of view that if you are sending me useful stuff,
yeah.
that's to me where the rubber hits the road. Doesn't mean I have to read it, but
Mhm,
if you
mhm.
are sending me useful stuff. And the great thing about this is so many people send out so much crap, which is just hard sell, that the people that actually understand how to deliver value,
Yeah,
you'll never be an unwanted guest because I can click anytime. And in your emails, you want to remind them you can unsubscribe at any time. So
yeah,
you're doing all the right things. You just have to find what works for your group. But if you're putting together value, your prospect should, want as much as that you're willing to send. I remember about 4 years ago, I came across a guy. This guy'd send 3 emails a day.
oh god.
Now, wait a sec. Wait a sec. Here's the
Yeah.
kicker. Now, I'm in the game. I couldn't stop reading them. I'd have to scan them because they were that compelling.
Wow.
And they were that compelling. And a lot of them I would save, maybe didn't read them, but I never once felt that I was being bombarded with anything other than stuff that could make me money. And so
Wow.
that's the number one key. If you fall into the trap of it just becomes clear after email 3 that you're just, stop me when you see something you like and all this stuff,
Yeah.
then yeah, you're not going to do it. But if you consistently deliver stuff that can help them, I'm of the mind that a lot of people are not going to be bothered by that.
Yeah.
But again, you have to find out with your audience. It really just depends on, uh, on who you're marketing to and how they perceive it. And kind of after you've done these 7 emails, there's nothing wrong with kind of going back and in the PS of say emails 4 through 7, you could just slip in a link to the only program I know offhand, the automated calendar is Calendly, I think it's called.
Yeah.
You could just slip in a link to your automatic calendar.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you want to talk sometime?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just book some time on my calendar. And that's a very kind of, understated way of just saying, here if you need me, and it's painless. You pick the time that works for you. We don't even have to go back and forth on that. And that can be a nice little kind of call to action that is not unreasonable and it's not over the top. But this is really to give you a framework. We'll put this up, Patty. I'm sure we can.
Yeah,
I
figure
can.
out that. Yeah, we'll put it in the comments section. One thing I was going to say, Gerry, too, is that part of my slow down to go faster is when you're putting thought and effort into this nurturing campaign. Is there's nothing to say if you're, like you say, washing the dashboard, they're opening. There's nothing to say that you don't pick up the phone and call them and
That's true.
leave them
Yeah,
a
that's
reinforcing message. Because you're putting so much thought and effort. You can use this in your follow up, in your personal follow up. Because I always keep saying you need to add value every time you leave a message. So use that same hook. So they're getting the email, they're getting the voicemail. Geez, this.
Yes, and that's a great point. And the good thing is, something they probably don't know. They will not really necessarily think that you have a bird's eye view to their activity. So if you call somebody that's opened 4 emails, like almost as soon as you've sent them, if you call them up, naturally you're not going to reference that. You just step in with, hey, I know you got the campaign. Hope you're enjoying it, right? Well, they're enjoying it because they've been opening it. If you're interested, blah, blah, blah. And, just sound them out that way. So use both mediums, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's the same message too. It's consistency, and your value, whether it's on print, when you read it or listen to it, it's consistency, right? Which is, I think, key. So yeah, great idea. Everybody should be doing that.
I'm going to click off this presentation. It crashed and burned on the desert floor. I don't know. That was like
I hate transitions in PowerPoint. It just
I love them because the thing is, when you got 7 points, you don't want to put them all up there because you kind of blow the surprise. But I have no idea why that stopped. I thought I said transition all. Anyway,
I'm a technical jinx, so I take full responsibility for that, you know?
I can write your copy and generate sales leads. Do not bring me in as a tech expert or tech
No.
guru.
Yeah, that's me. That's me-ish.
There you go.
Okay, so till
Well,
next.
that's it. Start following up and you'll see better results.
Yeah, that's great. Till next week. We'll see you in our next show.
Look forward
Bye.
to it.